Welcome back. I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, we're driving a rare bird. This is a 1968 Ferrari 206 Dino GT. There were only 153 or 152, depending on who you ask, made of the 206. Most people think of the 246 when they're thinking Dinos, of which there were nearly 2,500 produced, where this only 150. It's got a 2-liter V6 mid-mounted. It has disc brakes all around, independent double wishbone suspension, and it is ahead of its time. It only weighs 1,800 or 1,900 pounds, so basically Lotus Elise level curb weight. And to compare that to the 246, that weighed nearly 2,300 or 2,400 pounds. The reason why is that this 206 is primarily aluminum, and in the 246's Ferrari went to a lot of steel. I do believe that the Pininfarina designed Ferrari Dino is one of the most beautiful and iconic cars ever built, ever drawn. It's just incredible. The proportions are outrageous, and when you're sitting in it, you feel like you're lying down. First, let's just take a look at these front fenders. They rise way up over the car, and it's really difficult to get an idea of what that means until you've sat back here. And you see that that sits basically at the top of the steering wheel, the top of that front fender. It's something else. And then you've got these great scoops bringing air into that engine compartment and our very cool door handle up top. All right, let me show you under the hood, because this is really special. This 2-liter V6 is an aluminum block. Now the 246 goes to cast iron to make more power, so this one makes about 178 horsepower. And although people sort of complain that this was too slow, I assure you, you will not care, because the sound that comes out of this engine is outrageous. We've got 3 carburetors up top, and it is a joy to get into the pedal. But we've also got plenty of storage, because behind that engine is a fairly sizable trunk, and you could certainly do some grand touring with your honey in this thing, packing at least a solid weekend of stuff. But one of my favorite things about the Dino GT, the 206, and the 246 for that matter, is just this rear end. It's that classic taillight setup and these quad tailpipes, which are just like little pea shooters. They're fantastic, and you can't believe how much energy and enthusiasm comes out of those when you're driving. Now, there is a beautiful spare tire up front. So if we open up this little hatch up here, we reveal a radiator for cooling and a beautiful full-size spare. Sorry guys, no frunk, no extra room for stuff unless you pop that spare out of there. However, gluing this to the road is a 205 section Michelin on a 14-inch wheel. Disc brakes, like I said, which is great, but these are just small little guys with a whole bunch of sidewall, and I love when people put period correct tread on these old classics. These headlights are open, not covered, but glass, of course, and the beautiful chrome fenders with this little grille up here just makes the front of this car look so aggressive and ready to race. And this rear glass is probably one of my favorite design cues of this car, because it wraps all the way around. They could have just made that square and put a square piece of glass in the center, but no, they wrapped it all the way around, which is just gorgeous to look at. And these shoulder harnesses bolt in basically straight to the bodywork. You'll notice that this chair is basically in 2 pieces. So you've got this very extremely reclined seat that we're going to be sitting in that can move forward and back. Sorry guys, no adjustability here. I could probably use a pillow on this. And then your headrest is built into the firewall, essentially, right on the back of that. So let's jump in and take this thing for a ride. Starting it up is a joy. But when you get in here, most folks would probably feel a little uncomfortable, because I am essentially laying down in this car. This is pretty outrageous, and the pedal box is a little tight. Not to mention the fact that to steer the car, you basically have to man spread, because the steering wheel, there's really no way, unless you're already in the pedals, to put your legs in any sort of normal position. So you do drive it like this. To get it started, we've got a pretty standard key and ignition over here. We've got our 5-speed dogleg gated manual in neutral. And let's see, we'll get our fuel pump going. Good. Oil pressure coming to life. We've got a full tank of gas. Our oil temp will come up pretty quickly. Water temp always seems to take a while. I don't know, maybe it's the gauge. Our amps, and over here a gorgeous clock with a fluid, not a ticking second hand. I really like that. We'll buckle up our shoulder belt here, close up our door. I'm going to do a U-turn here because that looks like someone learning to drive in a Model X, and that's a lot of weight and a lot of torque for a new driver to push against a $600,000 Dino. Lots of snaps, crackles, and pops on the overrun of this thing. It sounds pretty insane. Eat your heart out on your burble tune in your BMW, because this is some authentic Italian motoring right here. These brakes are already phenomenal. Man, this is a special one. Love these big fenders because it's not an open wheel car, but it really shows you where the corners of the car are. It always feels a little weird sitting this far away from the steering wheel, but this is as close as I can get without putting pillows on the seat. Now, it may not be outrageously powerful, but it just sounds incredible. And it's instantly responsive. Love a gated manual shifter, if for no other reason than for the certainty of getting into the gear you'd like to go to, because these old Italian boxes can be a little tricky if you're not comfortable with them, but knowing exactly where first, second, third, and fourth are going to be, that's a godsend. an incredible driving experience. Build a little bit of a rapport with the car now, I think. The suspension's glorious because it's compliant, but it doesn't have too much roll. It just behaves exactly the way you want a street sports car to behave. It's nice to have all this sidewall on the tires to absorb a lot of the junk in these roads. This thing's pretty nice. We're just cruising along, 3,500 RPM, 120 kilometers per hour. Good stuff, man. Very comfortable, very confidence-inspiring for grand touring. I love the little thin wood steering wheel. That's always nice. You get the idea that all you want to do is see this thing racing at Goodwood. You want to see a bunch of these things out tackling a real race circuit. I would love a rear view mirror on the sides though. That would be nice. That's gonna do it. The 1968 206 Dino GT is an absolute dream. It delivers on all of its promises, style, performance, all of the things, and it's interesting, just the fact that sure, it's not the fastest thing out there. The 246 solves the power problem, but this is far more rare, and it's a whole lot lighter. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.